Welcome everyone to Podcast 69 South, where we test and discuss true crime, cold cases, current events, and hot topics, along with our state of society today. This is your trigger warning. Our podcast content is produced for adult listeners 18 years of age and older. We discuss situations that may be offensive and triggering to some listeners. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome back, everybody, to 69 South. I'm Chop.
And I'm Julie. Today we're diving into a deeply troubling case that's shaken the community. Brittany Fortinberry, an educator with ties to both the MSD of Martinsville and the Eminent School Corporation.
Brittany has recently been arrested on serious charges, including 2 counts of disseminating harmful matter, and just yesterday she faced additional charges of sexual misconduct with a minor, a level 4 felony, along with more counts of disseminating a harmful matter and contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
It's a case that raises a lot of questions about trust, safety, and the responsibility of those in positions of authority. We're going to take a close look at the probable cause affidavit that details the allegations against her.
So grab a seat and join us as we explore the facts, the implications, and what this means for the community and beyond. Let's get started. I'm just going to drop an additional little disclaimer. This podcast and probable cause affidavits contain some pretty explicit material. So again, if you don't like hearing this type of thing, just don't listen to it, please.
And definitely don't let your children listen to this. So with that, we're going to get started. This is the probable cause affidavit for Brittany Fortinberry. Now, it's dated October 29th of 2024. This investigation started around 6 months ago, so we're going to jump back to the beginning. Now, I, Patrick Williams, have probable cause to believe that Brittany Fortinberry did between August 15th to August 23rd, 2024, commit the following criminal offenses in violation of Indiana law, to wit, child seduction, dissemination of matter harmful to a minor, inappropriate communication with a minor, and harassment. This probable cause is based upon the following facts and circumstances based upon my personal knowledge.
On August 22nd, 2024, Patrick was assigned to a case to investigate for allegations of inappropriate conduct being conducted by a teacher employed at the Eminence High School and 2 other students. The initial report was made after 2 students disclosed to staff at the high school of the incidents that were taking place. The initial information was 2 students at the Eminence High School were receiving inappropriate messages on Instagram from a teacher named Brittany Fortinberry. It was also disclosed to a staff at the school that there were inappropriate videos exchanged from Brittany Fortinberry.
I would advise that after receiving this information, I scheduled an interview with the 2 students that made the initial disclosures. The first interview was with Anonymous. Now, this interview was conducted at the Eminence Schools Administration Office on September 3rd, 2024, and this is a summary of the interview that day.
Blank says that around the 4th day of school, they were called down, told there was a new teacher at school and had some things in her car, needed help moving in, and they were going to TA, teacher's assistant, for her. Blank said that the teacher introduced herself as Brittany and they could call her Mrs. B. Said there was a few boxes of things in her car, and that day they helped her set up her room and grade some papers. Blank said that at first things seemed normal.
He said things seemed normal the rest of the week. He continued saying that over the weekend she added him on Instagram. He said she then texted him on Instagram asking him where the cross-country meet was at. She asked him for the cross-country schedule and told him that she was wanting to attend some of the meets. He said he thought it was kind of weird that she was asking him, but did give her the link to where she could find the schedule at. He said that she continued texting him, asking him how he was doing, what he was doing that weekend, and described it as she was texting more like a friend would be.
He also said that the following Monday she started getting more friendly with him. He said that she was starting to favor him more than his buddy that was also a teacher's assistant. He said she asked how old they were. He said his buddy, blank, told her that he was 17, and he told her that he was 18. He said that she started focusing more on him after this. He said she started acting almost flirty with him. He said he didn't think much of it other than it was a little weird since she was a teacher. He said he's met people who have flirty attitudes but don't mean anything by it.
He said that he thinks on Wednesday, after leaving class to get lunch, that he got a text from her. He said that she thanked him for grading some papers for her, that she had been busy and a lot of stuff was going on. He said he told her it was no problem, that he was there for her, and told her he hoped she had a great rest of her day. He said she responded saying, "You too, but you aren't the one who had to change their pants after class." He said he responded with a "wow, okay," and just left it alone. He said later that day that she messaged him again, asking him to come to her room. He said she asked him to finish grading some papers for her. He said that later that night he was with his buddy, we'll call him Victim 2, just chilling in the basement. He said that she sent him a video on Instagram. He said at first she asked the other boy if he wanted to see her new collection. He said in a video she sent him, it was going drawer after drawer of sex toys. He said she would go one by one showing off what they were. He said he didn't really understand what was going on, and he said that he deleted his chats, sat his phone down, and said, "We are done with that."
He also said the next day she sent him pictures with her straps down and her breast almost falling out. He said that she was clearly trying to get him to look at them. He said he told her that he didn't understand why she had this attraction to him, that he realizes that he is 18. Told her that this could ruin her job, that he had a wonderful girlfriend and had no problems being her teacher's assistant, and that she just needed to leave him alone. He said that he would not say anything, but she needed to leave him alone.
He said later that night she sent him some scholarship thing. He said that she had just said or mentioned to him, here's the scholarship thing you wanted. He said maybe she was trying to be helpful since it was scholarship information. He said that she turned on vanish mode, then told him she forgot she wasn't supposed to be texting him. He said the vanish mode makes stuff automatically delete, I guess. He said that she clearly sent him the scholarship stuff to try to get his attention. He said he learned the next day, within a half hour of him telling her to stop talking to him, that she started talking to his buddy.
He said that she started to act the same way with him. He said that Victim 2 doesn't want that. He said that he went back and forth about talking with someone about what was going on. He said that he ended up going to talk to the dean of students about what was going on. I would advise that the dean is the dean of students for the eminent schools as well as the athletic director.
Now, after he disclosed the above, I then revisited some of the things that he mentioned. He said he thinks the first day of school was August 7th. He said she was teaching on day 1 and he was introduced on August 15th to her as a teacher's assistant. He said it was the following morning, August 16th, when she started following him on Instagram. He said it was just general conversation at first. He said that she did get a little more personal. He said she told him about her being a stripper, her exclusive online content on her website, and about her past. He said at one point she told him over the last 2 years she had lost 100 pounds. He said that she showed him a before and an after picture, and he praised her for it, telling her that was a hard thing to do. And he said that he never complimented her in any way that would have been a sexual comment. He said that it is just bizarre. You come to school, see a teacher, and you're supposed to be able to trust them.
He said when she initially reached out to him, the messages were like a normal text and not in vanish mode. He said when she sent something that she didn't want to be seen again, and that is when she would turn on vanishing mode. He said he thinks it was about 3 days after she first reached out to him that she started sending messages in vanish mode.
He said when she sent pictures to him, it was like she was trying to intentionally show off her breasts to him. He also said in some other videos she had sent him, it was just general conversation. He said in one of the videos she told him that her husband was a firefighter. He said none of the images sent to him were fully nude. He said she sent probably 6 revealing pictures to him. He did say when she told him about having to change her panties after class, that was a picture with her face on it and the words on the picture talking about changing her panties.
That's all kind of off a little bit. I mean, what's really weird to me and seems weird is the accusations. The accusation is that, I mean, she started this literally the next day after she met the teacher's assistant.
Yeah, like immediate. Well, she started following him that night. So like she started following him on Instagram that night. My kids don't have social media, but I know that if they did, I wouldn't want their teachers following them and messaging them and stuff like that, especially after hours, after school. I get it when you're in school and a teacher needs to communicate with a child,
especially about
school.
Having to change your panties after class. I mean, that's
just disgusting. I'm blown away by that.
I am too.
And it's so quick. This is like the next day she's talking about having to change her panties with this child. It just doesn't, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
So he said the day he reported this, earlier that morning, they were helping put up lights in her classroom. He said that she was showing him a picture of something and thought it was her home gym. He said that she then sits her phone down, making it a point so that he could see it. And her photo gallery was open with photos of her completely naked. He said she was smiling about it when he saw them. He said this was during third period study hall when they teacher assisted for her.
He said that she sent him a picture of her room, and in the picture was a stripper pole. She talked about her telling him that after she left Martinsville that she was a stripper, how she had an OnlyFans page and did exclusive stuff on her Snapchat stories. He said that he did not participate in any of the sexual conversations that she sent. He said the only communications from her were through Instagram. He said he did not have any of the messages. He said that the agreement was made that as long as she never talked to him again, that the chats would be deleted. He said they were in agreement, but then she reached out about the scholarship stuff. He said she did try looking at his blocked list to see if he could see what her Instagram account name was, and she completely removed her account.
Well, that's interesting.
That's very interesting.
I wonder how many burner Instagram accounts went through. But what's weird is that he says she was a stripper, and one of our listeners had reached out, and allegedly she was a stripper at Brad's
Brass Flamingo.
I guess that's
I have no idea.
Place up in Indianapolis or something like that. But anyway, he said the same day that he reported this, she was sitting on the floor grading papers, her butt sitting on her feet. It was clear that she was arching her back, trying to show off to them. He said he told a friend after they walked out of class that this was getting out of hand. He said that she made a reference to something about the sex toys and spending like $5,000 on them. He and I talked a few more minutes and the interview was concluded.
Later in the day on September 3rd, 2024, the detective had the opportunity to speak to another victim of the case. This is the summary of the interview. He said that they had recently had a new teacher hired. He said that victim 1 and himself were placed in her room for a free period. He said they were helping her with normal stuff like grading papers, taking care of her room, and stuff like that. He says that as the week continued, she started to get more comfortable with them, started to feel them out for like who they were, what they were like, and started to make some sexual harassment comments or tease at them. He says that she found them on social media too.
He says that he remembers his buddy telling him about a comment that she made about her wanting to have sex with them and dreaming about it. He says she would tease every day, wear very revealing stuff, and especially more so when it was just them in the classroom. He says one day, the day before she got fired, she was wearing a dress with a hoodie. When the kids left and it was just them, she took it off. He continued saying she told them her dress was broken, pointing to where it was broken. She had pointed towards the breast area, and he also added that it was super revealing.
He then talks about her sharing that she used to be a stripper and about her past sexual life and about her husband and her. He said that she said this to both of them, victim one, and he said she messaged them online and on Instagram and on vanish mode. He also said that she had sent him a picture of her bedroom and that it had a stripper pole in it. He said that she would tell him about that. He also said that she told her how she was very, very, very sexually active in the past. He said his friend told him to ask her about the couch that she had in her room, and she told him that her and her husband used to have sex on that couch.
Now, he said that the comment about her having a dream about having a sex with him and the other victim was through social media. He says that he feels like school was being suspicious of her and that she wasn't saying as much directly to him because she knew that he was 17 and that she was pushing her limits a little bit with that and the things that she would say to him. He said that he finally told their AD, athletic director, and he said that after that, she reached out to him, telling him to block her on social media. He clarified and said it was just on Instagram. He said she mentioned at some point she also had a TikTok account, but he didn't have that. He said that the conversations through Instagram started off normal. After she started saying stuff and after he started helping her with the room, she started sending messages in vanish mode. He said that he thinks it was only a couple of days until she started sending the messages in vanish mode. He said that he thinks the first message that he received from her in vanish mode was of her smoking weed in her garage. He said the only picture he received from her was of her room with a stripper pole. He said that he felt uncomfortable about it, and she didn't say anything after that and started messaging him on the next day.
Then he talks about the couch conversation. He said they were in the classroom and asked about the couch being new, and that's when she talked about having sex with her husband on it. He said the teacher that we are talking about is Brittany Fortinberry. He said that he thinks she has been a teacher before somewhere else. He said he doesn't remember what her Instagram username was, but he said her profile picture was of her in a pink dress. He said he deleted their messages, blocked her, and he didn't want to talk to her anymore. He said that she told him that she needed to get rid of him off of social media because she was getting fired. He said he thinks this was the night before that she had gotten fired. He said that he heard from the victim, too, that she might have got a previous incident at Martinsville. He said that he heard that she might have also talked to a graduate kid.
Wow. Those are some crazy allegations.
Yeah, but you know what? The first interview is almost duplicate of the second interview. Did you notice that? I mean, it's almost identical.
Mm-hmm. Now, he said she also talks about being raped by her previous husband and having to have part of her uterus removed. He said this was while they were grading papers. He said she also talked about how she partied a lot and that she had dating apps. He also said that she had mentioned making around 12 grand from OnlyFans, and he made another comment about how she would manipulate men. He said that she would mainly do that on her Snapchat, and she never gave him her Snapchat.
He said when she sent the video of her smoking a blunt, she would wear something revealing, never fully exposing herself. He just thinks she sent a video like like 3 times.
And remember, she sent them in vanish mode, so they're disappearing.
Right. I'm not too familiar with that. I didn't even know there was a vanish mode on there.
I don't even know how to work
with you.
Instagram. I think we have like 20 followers on Instagram because I don't know how to work it that good. But he said that sometimes when she would grade papers, she would sit on the floor in a sexual position. He described it as being on all fours with her elbows on the floor. He said that happened 2 times a day. And he also talks about her clothing that she would wear. He said while they were in the classroom, she would always take off her covering and would have her cleavage exposed or wear really tight pants. He said that she also told him she had fake boobs at one point.
We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, this is Cha from 69 South. Are you ready to elevate your space with aromas that'll set the pace? Scented Jewels, Indiana's pride, with aromas you can't hide. The classic wax melts, oh so fine, then squeezable melts, the scent so divine. Dazzle your senses and level up your vibe. Scented Jewels bring an aroma to your life. We use this in our studio and our home as we have teenage boys and pets. It makes our place smell so fine. Use promo code 69South for 10% off today. Shop Scented Jewels, luxury in every way. Head on over to Shop Scented Jewels. That is www.shopscentedjewels.com and get 10% off your order today. Thank you. The detective and he talked for a few more minutes, and then that interview was concluded. The detective advised that after involving both of the victims, he gave oral testimony for a search warrant for the residence Brittany lives at, and they give the address. After giving oral testimony, I would advise Judge Brian Williams granted the search warrant. The search warrant was to take photographs both inside and outside of the residence. The purpose of this was to prove or disprove Victim 1 and Victim 2's disclosures.
I would advise that on September 6, 2024, the lead detective and a corporal went to Brittany's residence to execute the search warrant. We made contact at the residence with the family of Brittany, and they advised them that she wasn't there. I was also able to speak to Brittany over the phone and advised her that we were executing a search warrant and asked her if she was willing to come in to speak to me. Brittany stated that she would. After speaking to Brittany, we executed the search warrant. Corporal took photographs both inside and outside of the residence. I would advise that in the basement bedroom was a stripper pole as described by Victim 1 and Victim 2. I would also advise the numerous sex toys that were found and documented. The sex toys in the dresser were also consistent with the victim's disclosures. After we were finished, we left the residence and left a copy of the search warrant at the residence with Brittany's family to give to Brittany.
Now, knowing what we know now, I bet she should have been tripping. I mean, she had to have been.
Mm-hmm. Now, these are just allegations. They're just somebody saying she did this, and right now there's...
As of this part in our story,
yes,
I mean, she shouldn't have any reason to,
if she didn't do anything, she...
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm sure that if anybody throws a sexual allegation out there in nature, you're going to be concerned, you're going to be worried, it's going to stress you out, either way, if you did it or not. But if you didn't do it, you're going to have all the evidence on your devices or whatever to prove that you didn't do it.
Unless it was all deleted.
Or I guess if it was sent in vanish mode, it just disappears real quick. I'm not really sure how that works.
I always thought like law enforcement could bring that type of shit up on a phone. I mean,
in my mind, they can bring anything back.
Mine too, actually.
I would advise that after the search warrant was concluded, I proceeded back to the sheriff's office. Brittany did show up around 3 p.m. for an interview. She identified herself and her date of birth, and here's the summary of that interview.
Brittany said that she was told by the school that she was having inappropriate conversations with students. Brittany then says that her social media had been sent out, and she only taught middle school. Brittany said that she reported this to the school administration and blocked it once she realized this was kids. Brittany continued saying they had their locations on and it was showing the school, and there was no way that their location was not at the school, not being a child. Brittany says that she reported this right away. Brittany said that she was told she had every right to fight this. The union representative was there but couldn't fully represent her, saying because her dues don't come out until October. She was told she could fight it. It would go to the board. It would go public and that it would affect her kids. Brittany said this was basically what she was told. Brittany said that the administration left the room. The union representative told her she could resign right now. It wouldn't go before the board and she would still be able to teach. Brittany said that she is done teaching. Brittany said that she wrote up a resignation letter. There wasn't much of a discussion of anything. Told her that there were accusations about her on social media and that they were going to investigate. There was an 18-year-old and someone under 18. Brittany said that was all she was told.
Wow, and she filed that resignation
Quick.
Immediately.
Quick. She wasn't even there long enough for the union dues, the teachers' union dues, to be taken out of her check.
I'm telling you, if I was a teacher in today's age in school and somebody said that about me, I would do everything. I'd be like, here's my phone, here's my computer, here's my device, here's everything, you know.
Yeah. Where's the receipts at? Would I be like?
Take it all, you know, go through every piece of it. I would do everything in my power to prove my innocence.
Why wouldn't you?
Now, Brittany said she started working at the school at the end of July, about a week before school started. Brittany said that she reported the social media things to the administration the Thursday before meeting with them. Brittany said this would have been on August 22nd. Brittany added that she received communication from the superintendent to report to him at 9 a.m. on Friday, August 23rd, not to go to her classroom or to log into any of the school system accounts.
Brittany talks about her ex and how he was abusive and how he's trying to get their son removed from her care. Brittany adds that her mind is that she'll never see her son again. Brittany said she's 100% disabled from the Navy, from the abuse that she has endured from him.
So I think they met in the Navy and then later on got together, got married or something like that. And then she retired from the Navy or got out of the Navy and was disabled.
Like from an honorable discharge, or disabled discharge or something.
I'm not 100% for sure what type of discharge it was, but we know that she probably gets paid because she's 100% disabled from whatever happened in the Navy. Now, the detective asked Brittany if the school shared any of the allegations that were made with her. Brittany said they told her they were sexual in nature. Brittany said they didn't share with who or what, and that was all that they had shared with her. Brittany said they did drop Instagram and brought up Snapchat, but she said she told them she had reported that to the dean and wasn't sure what had happened with that. Brittany said the whole process took maybe 45 minutes.
I then asked Brittany what's going through her mind when there's allegations of sexual stuff or sexual message between students. Brittany said that she's going to be honest with me. That she regrets the day she lost weight. Brittany continues saying that she doesn't think she would have run into any of these issues if she was still 150 pounds heavier. Brittany then mentions when she was with the Martinsville schools that she was asked not to go to the community pool. Brittany added that the school couldn't just come right out and ask her not to go, but it was highly suggestive because moms felt that it was a distraction. Brittany says she had a very traumatic childhood and has a borderline personality disorder. Brittany says she really enjoys teaching. She says she is she's serving a purpose when she teaches. She said she worked for Martinsville schools for one trimester, the second trimester, and it was during the 2023-2024 school year. Brittany said this particular trimester was during the wintertime.
Brittany talks about having a bunch of kids that she would feed, clothe, and take them to do things. Brittany describes these kids as troubled kids, one that CPS couldn't do anything for, or ones without the best parents. How does she know that CPS isn't doing anything for them if she doesn't properly report it? I don't think she ever made any reports of child abuse or child neglect to anybody.
I don't know. I think we're going to find out a lot more about these kids from the MDS that she was helping, supposedly.
Now, Brittany said that this eventually turned into rumors being started. Brittany said that someone reported allegations and it was investigated. Brittany said she felt responsible for these children. She said sometimes these parents would drop these kids off and not pick them up for a week. Brittany said when she was started teaching, she used that as an out, that she couldn't do things with these kids any longer.
Brittany then says that she has a large breast. Brittany continues saying they joke. The joke was that she was a blow-up doll, and no matter how she dressed, people talked about the way she looked. Brittany said she didn't want to do younger teaching because she doesn't have that kid voice. Brittany said she thought high school would be better. She said she realized that they are all going through puberty. She says she showed kindness to these kids, and people have problems with that.
Brittany talks about getting her job at eminent schools. I then revisited the allegations that were made while she was working for the Martinsville School District. Brittany said that the allegations were that students had seen her tits and they had sexual relations with her. Brittany said it was investigated and was unfounded. Brittany talks about having a past. She says she's done OnlyFans and she's allegedly been posted on Pornhub.
So she said she's allegedly been posted on Pornhub.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Okay, just trying to get
How
that
would
straight.
somebody get videos? Oh, because she did the OnlyFans or something like that.
I'm not sure.
Can people steal like those videos or something that people post on those sites?
I have no. If you can probably screen record anything with an iPhone, right? I mean,
I bet she don't have that app no more. Didn't Indiana block that app or make it? Maybe not block it, but require like ID identification for our state for that particular thing. I think the news said that. But anyway, I was just wondering how it would get posted on there. That's such a private thing.
I know it's weird, especially you would think being a teacher that you would make sure that shit was not doing that shit. I mean, but
Now, and she's stating that, yeah, there are allegations that kids have seen her tits, as she said, and that they have had sexual relations with her. So she already knows that people are saying this about her before she even gets to her job at Eminence. She already knows what's going on. Now, the detective asked Brittany about her thoughts on the recent accusations that have been made. Brittany says she contacted the school about the two that were helping her in the classroom. Brittany says that she contacted them about scholarship things. She said that they were trying to talk to her outside of school things, but added that it wasn't sexual in nature. Brittany said that one did say something, not to her, but about his girlfriend to his buddy. Brittany said she tried to nip that in the butt because she's been on wrong sides of inappropriate conversations, that anyone could walk by thinking it was about her and that she tried to set some boundaries. Brittany said the two boys that were helping her were victim A or victim 1 and victim 2. Brittany said they helped during study hall and her prep period. Brittany said they were helping her decorate her classroom.
she also said she communicated with one of the boys on Instagram, with the boys, both of them, I guess. Brittany said that the only thing that she communicated was about the scholarship information. She said that the students did try to video call her a couple of times, but said she shut that down. Brittany added that she also did communicate with them, trying to see if the boys knew who the other kids were that were trying to add her on Snapchat. She continued saying that she used to get a lot of traffic on Snapchat from men trying to talk to her. She said that after she quit at Eminence, she shut all of her social media accounts down because she had parents trying to add her, and she wasn't sure what their intentions were, so she had to shut them all down. She said that on Sunday, the 25th, was when she shut down all her social media accounts. She said she had a TikTok account, an Instagram, a Facebook, and a Snapchat account.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be shutting down none of my accounts. I'd be
No.
I'd be like, no, here's this account, this account, this account, this account. Here's all my accounts. Do whatever you need to do. Here's my phone records.
Now that you know
everything that I can provide.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to shut nothing down. I'm going to leave it just the way it is so you guys can take it and investigate it and dig and look into it. That's how my mind works. So Brittany then talks about a verbal correction she had to make with a student. Brittany continued saying that he drew a penis on another student's arm. Brittany said there were comments about one of the boyfriend's girlfriends sucking it so good where it will come off. Brittany said she told them to wash it off and needed to have appropriate conversations.
The detective then explained to Brittany about why they were at her house for the search warrant. He told Brittany the purpose was to try to verify the things that he had been told during the course of the investigation. He asked Brittany again if there were any other conversations with the boys other than what we had already discussed. Brittany said she's not really sure what other things could have been said or done on Instagram. He then told Brittany that at some point after she was employed with Eminence, there were messages exchanged on Instagram, which she had confirmed. I told Brittany that it had been disclosed that the stripper pole in the residence had been sent to the boys. She said that he has also posted on her Instagram stories. That the stripper pole, I guess that was on her Instagram stories. She's basically saying that's how the boys could have figured that out.
You're going to be a teacher and you're going to post a stripper pole on your Instagram stories?
And then contact the kids through Instagram.
That's odd.
That is odd. Brittany adds that wasn't something that was hidden and that it was something they could have seen. Brittany said she used it for fitness and to build muscle. Brittany said that she does regret giving them access to Instagram to communicate. She knows that it was wrong. She was just trying to be helpful, and she was just posting as her normal self. She said they could have seen it. They could have seen her whole house. Brittany said she never specifically said that to them.
Or sent that to them.
Right.
Wow. People should know in this day and age, don't post your whole house on social media apps or anything like that. The detective then asked Brittany if she sent any other videos in the bedroom to the boys. I told Brittany the boys disclosed that she shared her collection of sex toys with them. Brittany said no, that she's not shared it with them. Brittany added that she had a video of her sex toys on FetLife. Brittany exclaimed that FetLife is a kink site. Brittany said it's been posted on her private Snapchat story. Brittany added she's never had it on her Instagram or sent it to them. She has a video from February that she took of her collection, and Brittany talks about how she used to sell nudes. Brittany says they wouldn't have had access to that. She didn't even know how they got it, and that she don't even know how they have any knowledge to get it. Brittany says she knows for a fact she never shared that video with them. I told Brittany that's what I'm trying to figure out. If they didn't have access, how would they know about it? Brittany even adds that for the FetLife site, you have to send in age verification things before you can access the site.
Brittany says she did not have any sexual talk or any sexual advances with the victims. Brittany said at this point she already feels like she is going to lose everything. She asked what she can say that will make everyone happy. The detective told Brittany that he didn't want her to say anything that wasn't factual. He told Brittany that this wasn't going to go away and we just need to work through it. Brittany said it doesn't really matter much anymore and she knows she's going to lose her son. Brittany said she can't wrap her head around it and she's trying to replay everything in her head. Brittany says she'll do whatever and everything she'll lose whatever and everything that she has worked for in life and is kind of fucked right now.
I asked Brittany if her phone could have been out where they could have seen something. Brittany said they would use it to listen to music sometimes. You're handing your students your personal cell phone to listen to stuff, knowing what kind of graphic, inappropriate images are on there.
Honestly, and these are all allegations, but it seems like she already had an answer for why these students had seen this picture or seen that picture.
Or seen anything.
Right. They could have got this off FetLife. Somebody might have posted it to this or that or the other. I never shared anything or.
I'm sorry. I don't believe she gave her phone to anybody to listen to me. I mean, she probably could have. She wanted them to see what was in there, according to these boys. Now, Brittany said that there wouldn't have been enough time for them to actively scroll through things without her catching them. Brittany said she's trying to replay where she fucked up, and if she fucked up, she would take full responsibility for it. Brittany said she doesn't have an answer for the sex toy collection. I bet you don't. And if you didn't do anything, there should never even be a thought of trying to replay where you messed up.
No, you shouldn't have to be trying to replay anything. It should be cut and dry, especially with a teacher.
Exactly. Now, he asked Brittany if there was ever a conversation that could have been misconstrued. Brittany says that is something she is not sure of. Brittany says that this is not outside of the realm of possibilities, but it was never intentional. I then asked Brittany if it could have been possible what those conversations could have been. Brittany said, just about life. None of it really should it even been sexual in nature. Brittany said she was trying to think of every conversation. She said there was an instance where her dress broke in the parking lot and she had to wear a sweater all day. Brittany said it broke at the top and then they kept asking why she was wearing the sweater. Brittany said that it didn't even add up. She says she doesn't know. I asked Brittany if when her dress broke, if there was any other conversations about it. Brittany said no, that was a line that she wasn't going to cross. Brittany said her AC was broken in her classroom and it got warm in her classroom. She said she kept it on all day until she got to the football field later. Brittany said she has H breast size and they were out. She said it made her feel uncomfortable because she doesn't want to be viewed as a sexual object in that kind of setting. Brittany said the boys told her they wouldn't tell anyone if she took it off, but she was adamant that she kept it on. A point I find weird is she hasn't talked to these boys since they made that report. They made the same report about her being in a dress, having a hoodie, the front of it being broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's saying the exact same thing in relation.
Again, she has answers for everything. And this is something that the detective didn't even bring up first. She brought this up first about the dress being broke. Brittany then talked about how when she was a teenager, having sex was a form of self-harm. Brittany said she had sex with over 300 men before she turned 18. I asked Brittany about how these messages between her and the boys were set up. She said that the messages when she was asking the boys about the Snapchat stuff, trying to figure it out, or who was adding her in vanish mode, but everything else was not. Brittany said she initiated the scholarship messages and that they turned on the vanish mode. I then asked Brittany if all of the conversations they were having were normal about the scholarship information. What would trigger it to be switched? Brittany said she had to turn it on when she was talking to other people just by trying to scroll up and didn't give a fuck enough to turn it off.
So she does admit sending messages to students in vanish mode and that she just didn't give a fuck enough to shut it off was her exact words. Now, she had different levels of stuff that she would share on her social media, and her Snapchat was her most private. Brittany says that she understands where the detective is coming from and adds she truly doesn't know. She continued saying she's already in the mindset that her ex is going to find out and she's not going to get to see her kids anymore. She had said that she did not have any sexual conversations on Instagram in person and is trying to figure out where she fucked up to give them that kind of impression. Brittany talks about the video again, says that she shared it with other people and says she did not intentionally share it with the victims or anyone under the age of 21. Brittany said she doesn't talk to anyone sexual under the age of 21. She said she would rather harm herself than cause harm to a kid.
The detective then explained to Brittany that it just didn't make sense. Brittany said she gets it, but doesn't have an answer for it. Brittany asked, "What happens from here?" I explained to Brittany that I would put everything together and it would be reviewed by the prosecutor's office. We continued to talk, and Brittany said she has no explanation for any of this. The detective asked Brittany if something happened that shouldn't have happened, that was a mistake between her and the boys. She said adding them on Instagram. Brittany said she truly fucked up on that one. Brittany adds she has no recollection of anything sexual in nature or anything that could have been misconstrued as sexual. She says it was such limited contact with them. Brittany says again she doesn't have any answers other than it did not. Brittany says she doesn't have a way for it to even make sense.
Now, we took a small break so that Brittany could use the restroom. When she returned, we talked a few more minutes about things moving forward, and the interview was concluded. I would advise that I did request a search warrant for the Instagram records of both victims, and that on October 2nd, 2024, the search warrant was granted under the cause number. I'm just going to give you the last digits, 001378. This warrant was served to Meta Platforms Incorporated on October 3rd. I would further advise that on October 8th, 2024, I did receive both sets of records back for the victims. I would advise that in reviewing the records from Instagram, both victims show that they blocked a user on August 23rd, 2024. This is consistent with the timing of everything that had occurred and with what was disclosed. I would also advise that Brittany stated in her interview that she got rid of all her social media accounts. In my experience as a law enforcement officer, when someone deletes or removes their accounts, it removes everything associated with it, which would be consistent with why Victim 1 and Victim 2's records only reflect they blocked someone and not showing the account associated with it. I would also advise that while interviewing Brittany, she discusses removing her social medias before I had an opportunity to speak with anyone involved in this matter. I would also advise that someone attempted to look at his block list on Instagram, and Brittany's Instagram information was no longer showing on it.
The detective also advises that he has received personal records from the MSD of Martinsville and the Eminence Community School Corporations. These records have been attached to the files in the case. They include resignation letters and statements from administrators, applications, resumes, and other information gathered by each respected school corporation.
All other records, pictures, and interviews have been attached to the files in this case. For the foregoing reasons, I have probable cause to believe that the defendant, named herein, committed the offense stated herein. I request that an arrest warrant be issued for the arrest of the defendant with bond to be set an amount that goes with the court's bond schedule. But the judge denied this probable cause because it was just based on somebody's allegations. There was really no proof at the time of what was going on. Somebody can't just say something and it be fact and somebody go get arrested for it. You have to have proof that that actually happened. So this is why this is why she did not get arrested. But even though there's not enough probable cause for an arrest warrant, a prosecutor can still move forward with your case, pursuing the charges and take you in front of a jury.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you another thing, I'm revising this, but I would have always thought that when you deleted stuff like that law enforcement could go back and look at that. I mean, I've always thought that.
I thought that you would think. I just assume,
I mean,
everything's traceable.
You watch First 48 and stuff like that, and they're going back on murders and stuff, and they're looking at messages. I mean, when they look like they pulled the whole phone records, it's all the deleted messages and shit. Maybe I just assumed that they could pull social media, back out of deleted mode or something.
I don't know if they ever got a search warrant for her devices or her phone. The search warrant just talks about pictures of the residents and stuff like that. So they didn't have enough probable cause to arrest her. But the case still moved forward, and thank God it did, because this is the end of the first half of the probable cause. And
we are going to cut this episode off at this point, and we are also going to drop part 2 tonight. It gets way deeper, folks.
Way deeper. So sit back, and we hope you, and nobody's going to enjoy this first episode. Nobody's going to enjoy any of these episodes. And I don't even like repeating these things that these people have done, but somebody's got to shed light on what's going on in our backyard and our small communities, because if we don't shed light on it, this situation's only going to get worse. And that's the last thing that I believe any good-hearted soul wants. So with that, we'll see you in part 2.
Until then, have a good, well, it's only going to be a couple hours probably, but have a good hour
Yep.
or
Whatever.
whatever.